it's really good. I think that's up to the audience to decide who is what.
Well done on this role. Now, what I love is that there has been a lot of stories talked about or put forth about the fallout of what happened post the Rodney King incident, but not necessarily from this lens of a horror and suspenseful thriller. What
Mhm.
about that whole time period makes it perfect for this genre and all of these characters to kind of have their own psyche be affected by what's happening around them?
Well, I mean, it's a bit of chaos, yes. I mean, I think it instantly draws the audience into the tension. I think the tension. I mean, when we talk about it, if you just talk about the '90s and you talk about the Rodney King riots and whatnot, and that assault that went on and everything, you and I instantly just grounded ourselves in the tension of that time. Um, and I think that also it kind of does a bit of a mind trip, I think, as a viewer. If for me, as I was reading the script, I mean, it just really set the tone for me of the time and of what's going on, and everybody's talking about this incident that's happened, right? And it has affected everyone's life around that, especially around that time, and even today. Um, I think it's just a really good anchor, I think, to just anchor you into the atmosphere of where the world is, where in Los Angeles, where we are, what's at stake. I think that's really what was important.
And obviously, race plays a vital role in this project, and we see it show up differently for every cast member. And your character really struggles with accepting who he is versus who society tells him he should be. How does
Yeah.
that change the trajectory of the relationship with his love interest, who is initially attracted to him because of his gentle spirit, and then he kind of takes her on this up and down roller coaster of good versus potentially sinister?
Yeah, I think for Edmund and for a lot of black men, softness, tenderness, the being odd, being very different, I think has been kind of made to feel not masculine in some sort of way. And I think for someone who has constantly heard the that you're not tough enough, especially him being an artist, him being an aspiring actor, and he's getting these roles where they're just not exactly who he is. And he's articulate. He knows nothing about the hood exactly, completely. His life has been quite different. He was raised different, in different ways. So um, I think when he's being complimented and being told that you're just a nice guy, you're such a nice guy, it's like almost like a challenge of like, but I've all these roles I've never gotten where I'm supposed to be playing a hard guy. I've never gotten, but the challenge of I can be a hard person. I can be a monster. I could do that. I can do that. I know what that is. Um, I think Edmund takes the challenge of proving himself and all others wrong because this is something he's heard his entire life. I think a lot of men, and we know in this life right now, have trouble with masculinity and being themselves. They feel they have to put on a certain mask to be loved, in some sense to be feared. I think most guys think that's hard and that's the right thing. That's masculinity, to be feared. And I think that's what Edmund struggles with.
Yeah, he took that method acting to a whole new level. So
Yes, he sure did.
now when I spoke with Deborah earlier, who stars as the lead, as the protagonist in this series, she mentioned that how in the first iteration of them, we noticed the difference between it was easier to determine who was the them versus the us. And
Yeah,
this time is much more difficult because of the complexities of each character.
yeah.
How would you define your character? Would he be considered a them or an us, or does it depend on the episode that we're watching?
Wow. It depends. I mean, I think that's a very, 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 very great question. as I allow myself to take the ride again of where he goes and where he ends. It's really good. I think that's up to the audience to decide who is what. I think there's moments of him becoming them maybe, but he was in a way I feel like he was created to be them, you know, by them. You know. So I think that's an interesting question, and something to really think about when watching this. I haven't put much thought to that. That it's very complex. I'm eager to know what the audience feels. That it's really going to have my mind turning for sure.
Now, how is it working with the cast? Because obviously it's star-studded, but
Yeah.
you have Pam Grier on this show,
Yeah.
okay? So I
Yeah.
can imagine,
Yeah.
as a Black man,
Yes.
what that meant for you. How was your interaction with her, if any, and were you just in awe, on set?
Absolutely. Absolutely in awe. I was in awe, and it was like two different worlds. There was Edmund world, and then there was Dawn Reeves world. So we didn't cross paths until the day in the script we met. So that was really interesting. But I was eager to be in their presence, just as a fan, but also just as a fellow collaborator. Yeah, we're standing on the shoulders of Miss Pam Grier, and it's really cool because she is the reason you and I are right now here. And also it's really cool that you and I get to watch this passing of a torch in a sense from her to Deborah. I think is what we're watching is a historical kind of thing, because such a genre and such an art form, I'm eager to see what it inspires from here on, because that's basically what we're doing, right? I mean, from her struggles, we get to have us. We get to do this together, and create this beautiful anthology. And for her to be a part of it, I mean, I think it makes it even more of a staple. I hope that it will make it even more of a staple in those who allow it to take the experience in their hearts, for sure. For me, it has. It's out of control.
Well, again, well done. And thank you so much for speaking with me. And I can't wait to see the remainder of the episodes. So I know a lot of Pam Grier fans are very, very excited to see you in a role like this on them, because it's not what you're typically, known for. And I spoke to series creator Little Marvin, and he talked about how in one scene in particular that you did, you caused a crew member to tear up because of how you really performed this scene with conviction. So are you excited to showcase your depth in this way, especially having the lengthy career that you've had?
No. They asked me, how'd you get there? Well, usually performances like theater, there's take one. That's it. And you're there with everything you're bringing to the role. And when I first met, I wasn't looking for a role like this. I wasn't looking for anyone. I was just wanted to relax and chill. And all of a sudden he found me, Little Marvin. And I said, with a name like Little Marvin, how little is he? And I was like, he's got to be an expressive, artist. And I got on the phone with him and Zoom, and he had this incredible concept and perception and royalty, if you will, of the craft. And he just believed in me to bring this unbelievable level of work to his entire being. And I said, I don't know if I'm equipped to do that. It's the levels, what you're requiring of me is outstanding. And I don't want to disappoint you. And he proceeded to talk me into it, to let me know what is required. And not often the director, sometimes they don't know. And this is what I need to be able to give him that one take, that one, in the moment of life for performance. And it's going to exhaust me, and I'm going to need therapy, and I'm going to charge him and send him the bill. It's turn the lights on, lock the door kind of performance in a show that revolves around you being fearful, letting your filters and your strength go, just letting go. And this character, I had to show vulnerabilities, to show the love of my daughter and grandson, and that the fact with my history, I've been able to historically, politically take care of them well and teach them well. And now I'm becoming physically frail and mentally incapacitated, and I've got issues, health issues, and with the medical, I don't know if the secret I've been keeping is going to be revealed, or if I can continue harboring this secret. And now there's paranormal events and episodes that I can't control. And are they real, or are they, psychoses? What's going on? And I'm feeling very lonely because I don't know who to tell. And I don't know if my daughter and my grandson are experiencing what I'm experiencing, and I don't want to lose them, and I don't want them to take care of me, and what's going on. And like, there's this washing machine I've used forever, 100, and it's turned into this aggressive monster. It's moving, it's jarring, it's beating, and it's frightening me, and I'm feeling I'm losing it. And there's so many levels. And and like I said, it's like theater. Take one. Life, the break of your leg is one take. All the emotions are one take. And it was exhausting, but it was challenging, and I knew he could challenge me, and as he's challenging himself. So we're in the same boat.
Well, I'm sure he'll be willing to foot the bill for that therapy that you mentioned. Now,
no, he won't. He said, "Well, since you pay mine, I pay yours."
You've also been open about how you've been able to relate to your character because of your own experiences. We learned in her backstory that she's grown up during the civil rights movement and the need to protect your family. And a lot of those elements from the time in the time period piece, because this story takes place in 91, are still actively happening today. So how interesting was it for you to participate in a time period piece where certain issues are still prevalent to the current times that we live in?
But when you're living it, and you have no control, and I was out of the forest, I could see the trees because I didn't live in Los Angeles, but my empathy was much stronger because I knew what people were going through, because I would fly into LA to shoot or to work on projects, and I'm being stopped and harassed, and I could understand, what was going on. And one false move, and you're just a chalk, line on the road, on the ground. And I just knew how devastating it would be, and how it affects people daily, their excellence, their security, their church, their dogma, everything that people are about. And it keeps me on point, keeps me alert. And I just wanted to make sure I learned from that. The inclusion of the civil rights movements and all the civil rights won was inclusion, music, church, concerts, clothing. People were engaging each other's culture more. And now there's this element of exclusion and ceasing to understand and comprehend other people's cultures. And it was daunting. And to see it today, and then you're smarter and more intelligent, you know why these things are happening. Over power is being taken, and power that cultures had owned. And now you see, since time, man has been at war. And when does it stop? And then with women, where do we fit in? What will we lose? We're now a community of women warriors. And here's my daughter is one. She's the lone LAPD detective with the weight of the world on her shoulders, and I'm taking care of her and her son. And then now I'm going to be in a situation she's going to have to take care of me. She's got one more thing to worry about. I don't want that. And I don't want to lose her. And with the deep, dark secret that I have, that could just implode, and I just, there's so much weight all of us carry. that's what gives us the texture and the will to fight, and our audience is rooting for us, and actually probably reliving some of the things that we are in the film. And when Marvin brought it, I just said, boy, that's a challenge. And I look forward to it. And I wanted to be able to have the legacy to give him what he required.
Thank you so much for your time. You did a phenomenal job. And I look forward to watching the rest of the season.